Hello, my name is Sam Levitt. I'm the ESG product lead here at Amenity Analytics, now part of Symphony. I'm here today to talk to you about our latest blog post, Trash to Treasure, Companies Leading the Way in Resource Management. It focuses on circular economies, waste and recycling, with a particular focus on the consumer sectors and materials and industrials. So, looking at the topics of waste, recycling, and circular economy over the past 2 years, we see that there's been an uptick in total topic aggregates for waste, recycling, and circular economy, but there's been a higher uptick in statements with materiality language. So, our materiality model focuses on more particular language around company commitments and investments. So topics without materiality, we see a bit of an uptick in waste and recycling, and actually a downtick in discussion around circular economy without specific language across all sectors. The two sectors that we're going to be focusing on in this piece are the consumer sector and materials and industrials. So what is our materiality framework? Here's an example of extraction that our model picks up that is ESG related, but does not have that materiality language to give it that second order of specificity. Here they're talking about Coca-Cola reducing waste on a global scale, but there isn't a secondary indicator of a specific company effort or a target year or a particular milestone that they're working towards. This is a sentence that our model picked up with materiality language. So it's talking about this company, Aqua Metals, and there's a specific dollar spend tied to their lithium ion battery recycling program. So this is what we consider a material statement where the company or the news article talking about the company is referencing particular data points that the company has laid out or particular actions or monetary spend that is going to happen that's tied to a particular goal. So in the consumer sector, there's a lot of discussion around packaging, particularly around plastic packaging. So there's a few companies that we highlight here, but as an aggregate in the consumer sector, there's a downtick in recycling and more of an uptick around circular economy as the nomenclature language that companies are using to discuss these packaging issues. It's worth mentioning that plastic recycling is not uniform. Plastics are not of uniform composition, and there's many different ways that plastic is recycled. And one buzzword that is gaining momentum is called pyrolysis. So it's worth mentioning that this particular type of procedure is where they melt down plastics at high temperatures. It can be dangerous. It can release chemicals into the surrounding air and water. This is just one kind of plastic recycling, but it's becoming a buzzword and part of the greenwashing arsenal for major companies. So that's one to look out for. Not all plastic recycling is pyrolysis, but the methodology around pyrolysis is still largely untested when it comes to sustainability practices, and it's becoming increasingly used as a buzzword. So it's worth mentioning that before we dig into some more particular companies. Coca-Cola and Pepsi have goals in place to reduce packaging and have their packaging become more sustainable in the near future. So while we see that they acknowledge that this is an issue that they're working towards, the inclusion of these goals tells us that the packaging is not completely recyclable or sustainable at the moment. When we compare this with other beverage companies like Liquid Death, the water company that's had a lot of success recently, and even more more established companies such as Diageo and Carlsberg, they do not use plastic in their consumer offerings. Liquid Death is a very outspoken user of aluminum and the aluminum circular economy. In fact, 75% of all aluminum ever produced is still in use today because it is so infinitely recyclable and easy to break down and reuse in this process. Diageo and Carlsberg also have removed plastic from their consumer offerings. So, in contrast to plastic, aluminum is a good offering, it seems, for beverage companies, and might be something that we're moving towards in the future. So this is something to keep an eye on in 2023, how consumer packaging is evolving. Are we moving towards a future without plastic? Is plastic becoming something that will be more uniformly recyclable in the future? Or is it something that is going to be replaced by products that are easier to recycle, like aluminum? When it comes to materials and industrials, the use case is a bit more clear, mostly because a lot of it is focused on battery recycling and metals recycling. In particular, the Inflation Reduction Act provided a lot of incentives for companies to reshore their efforts in battery recycling and EV production, particularly in North America. We can see here that there's a big uptick in recycling with materiality statements in the industrial sector. There's an uptick in topics without materiality, but that spike in materiality statements with regards to recycling is a bit pronounced. There's a lot of different use cases here, particularly around North American reshoring and metals and mining, and industrial sector. The few companies we've seen that have made particular statements around outlining projects to expand recycling capacity in North America include Arubis, AMG, and Rio Tinto. So, as we continue to monitor these two industries in 2023, we see them evolving in very different ways. The consumer sector is more focused on that consumer packaging, plastics type of use case, where materials and industrials is much more focused on metals in particular and value added kinds of metals, especially in the EV and battery recycling supply chain. So thanks for watching today. My name is Sam Levitt. I'm the ESG product lead here at Amenity Analytics, now part of Symphony. We encourage you to reach out, request a demo, see how our analytics and ESG capabilities can help your organization. Thanks for watching.